Have you ever felt stuck in your own head? You know those moments when your mind keeps spinning around like a hamster on a wheel, never stopping, only making you more exhausted. If you're tired of overthinking and getting nowhere, this video is for you. I'm not here to give you sweet, easy-to-hear advice. I'm coming at you with the hard, blunt truth, the truth that few dare to speak. Overthinking is not just a bad habit, it's a disease, something that traps you in anxiety and frustration. I've been there. I've spent sleepless nights, my mind filled with unanswered questions. Did I make the wrong decision? What if? I've wasted precious hours in my own head, unable to get out. But I found a way out. Not from self-help books or empty promises. I got out of that cycle thanks to the simple, powerful wisdom of Stoicism. This philosophy has been around for thousands of years, and it never gets old. It's practical for today. Do you want to get out of the cycle of endless thinking? Do you want to live a more meaningful life instead of being trapped in a trap of your own making? If the answer is yes, then watch this video. These are the lessons that changed my life. Lessons that not everyone is ready to hear. They will wake you up, but remember, this is not for those who are looking for ease. This is for those who are fed up with stagnation and are willing to face the truth even if it hurts. If you're ready to push your limits, then keep reading. If not, this probably isn't the video for you. The first thing I want to say here is, action is more important than analysis. Action is more important than analysis. Did you know that 85% of us feel overwhelmed every week? The ancient Greek-Roman philosophers, whom we call Stoics, recognized the futility of overthinking. They always emphasized that the goal of life is not to fall victim to impulses or reflexes. Today, the word Stoic is often used to describe someone who appears cold on the outside, unaffected by emotions or adversity. However, deep down, it is a valuable lesson in mastering thoughts and actions. So where does overthinking come from, and what can we do to overcome it? Let me be blunt. Overthinking does not get you anywhere near success. No amount of analysis can replace the power of action. I used to be an overthinker, paralyzing myself in a sea of thoughts, trying to predict every possible scenario. And the result? Nothing. I was stuck in my own head. When you overthink, you are not really living. You are just drifting in a sea of thoughts, worrying about things you cannot control. Action is the key that opens the door to real life. I realized this when I started taking small steps, even if they were not perfect, but they were enough to move me forward. Understand that you don't need to wait for everything to be perfect before you start. Action is the only solution. Overthinking will trap you in a closed circle of fear and hesitation. I remember one time, I spent weeks just planning a big project. I sat there thinking about every little detail, trying to calculate all the possible scenarios. But guess what? I didn't do anything. I sat there, worrying about the unknown, afraid that I would fail at the first step. And that procrastination was the real failure. Finally, I decided to pick up the phone, make that call I had been putting off for so long. And guess what? Everything changed the moment I took action. Not perfectly, but it was progress. I felt the liberation of action as my fear was pushed aside by action. Each step, however small, pulled me out of the darkness of procrastination and moved me forward. Action doesn't have to be perfect. You hear me? You don't have to wait until everything is perfect to start. It doesn't have to be. This is what Stoicism teaches. Action, however small, is more valuable than sitting around overthinking. Does this sound familiar? Have you ever sat there, analyzing everything down to the last detail, waiting for that perfect moment to take action? Don't worry, you're not alone. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Today I am free from anxiety, not because anything outside has changed, but because I have realized that this anxiety is mine, created by me, not from outside." It's a truth that many people don't realize. It's all in your perspective, inside you. We often think that we need a perfect plan to get started, but the truth is that action, continuous action, is what moves us forward. Got an obstacle in front of us? Get over it. Remember, Marcus also said, "The obstacle to action spurs action." What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not a fancy word, but the harsh truth that it is the difficulties and challenges that move us forward and make progress. You can face it and move forward, or you can sit there and complain. Ask yourself, what have you done for your own good? Have you ever sat there and cared more about other people's opinions than you did about yourself? We love ourselves, but worry about how others perceive us. This is something we all do, but Marcus reminds us that caring too much about other people's opinions is a trap. It takes us away from our freedom to act and pushes us into overthinking and procrastination. So let go. Act on what you think is right, not perfection. Don't wait until everything is clear to start. What you do today, no matter how small, still counts. Don't worry about what others think, because at the end of the day, this is your life. You are responsible for yourself, for every little decision you make, every little step you take. Stop complaining and move forward, even if things aren't perfect. We just need to act, just start. As you move forward, the anxiety will melt away, and the magic will begin to happen. Don't wait. Take action today. This is how you start creating the life you want, step by step. The second thing I want to share with my friends about Stoicism is, be yourself. The question is, why does this bother me? The answer is simple, because it involves things you may not really understand. Yes, maybe you are not special. It's a harsh truth, but accept it. No one really cares about you as much as you think. We live in a world where everyone is busy with their own problems, struggles, and thoughts. It sounds painful, right? But this is the release you need. Imagine you are afraid that everyone is watching, judging your every move, every little decision, every mistake. But the truth is, they don't care as much as you think. I used to be like you. I used to feel like I was the center of the universe. I was afraid of making mistakes. I was afraid that people would remember every little mistake I made. But then, I realized that no one had enough time to do that. Others were too busy with their own lives. This truth made me feel lighter. And I began to wonder, why should I live for the judgment of people who don't even notice me? I gradually felt free, no longer restrained by that invisible fear. Yes, when you accept that you are not special, you are liberated. There is no need to fear being watched, judged. The world will not collapse if you make a mistake. Take a deep breath. Life is not a stage where you always have to perform, always have to be perfect in the eyes of others. It is really unnecessary. That is what keeps you stuck in the spiral of overthinking. You keep thinking, worrying about every detail, about the eyes watching you, when in fact no one cares that much. Since I realized this, my life has changed dramatically. I started to act more decisively. I started to be true to myself, accept my imperfections, and embrace new experiences without fear of judgment. Mistakes became lessons. I stopped living in fear and started living for myself. Don't let the fear of judgment hold you back. Be true to yourself. You don't have to stand out. You just have to exist in your own way. And that is your power. Start here with acceptance. Dare to do, dare to try, and remember, no one cares about you as much as you think. That means you are completely free to live truly for yourself. Now I want to tell my wonderful Stoic friends the third thing. It is comparing yourself that is defined as the enemy of your happiness. We can't escape comparison. It's everywhere. When you open your phone, turn on social media, you see people living the life you think you should have. Success, happiness, perfect beauty. They pop up little by little, invading your mind. And then you start thinking, why can't I be like them? Why am I always here and not getting anywhere? Stop. That's the trap. Comparison is the enemy of joy. You're on your own journey, but you keep looking at others. You know what? Their life is not your life, and that's a wonderful thing. You have your own story, your own victories, and your own failures. All of it belongs to you, not someone else. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. A burning fire creates fire from everything that is thrown into it. Love what comes. There is no greater harmony. Comparison does nothing but extinguish the fire inside you. But when you learn to love everything, every experience, good or bad, that fire becomes stronger. There are days when I feel like I'm not good enough, not talented enough. But then, I realize, every time I focus on what others have, I lose my own power. You can choose not to let comparison hurt you, not because you are stronger or better than anyone else, but because you have learned to love your own journey. Comparison is a double-edged sword. It cuts off your joy and buries your self-esteem. But you can choose to love the hands that fate has given you, to seize the opportunities right in front of you. Don't worry about what others do or how big their success is. All you need to do is keep your fire burning. Ask yourself, is that fire strong enough? Are you burning up every challenge that comes your way, or are you letting it consume you? The choice is yours. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you will find that no hurt can truly touch you. Marcus Aurelius also said, "Choose not to be hurt, and you will not be hurt." And it is true. When you let go of comparison, you will find that everything you need is already within you. Don't procrastinate. Don't get confused. Don't get lost. Walk your own path, loving every challenge, every failure, and every success. This isn't about being perfect. It isn't about reaching some pinnacle that someone else has set for you. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. My wonderful Stoics, we are almost halfway through this video. If you're still here, it means that what I'm sharing is truly touching your heart. And if you haven't liked or subscribed to our channel yet, I would really appreciate it if you could do it now. Your support is truly a great source of motivation, helping us continue to create meaningful content just for you. And don't forget to comment, "I change from here" below. This is not just a declaration, but an affirmation that you have started a perfect new day. Let everyone know that you have taken action and will continue to maintain this good habit tomorrow. Because only when you truly affirm the positive, the whole universe will conspire to help you succeed. Next, I tell you the fourth thing. That is your emotions. Have you ever felt tired because your emotions keep dragging you away from what is really important? I have. Emotions can deceive you. They push you into a spiral of anxiety, of overthinking without any end. You know, emotions don't always tell the truth. They come and go, but they can throw you off balance, making things feel much worse than they really are. I realized this after spending too much time worrying about things I can't control. I spent hours thinking about what happened or worrying about what might happen in the future. It was all useless. Overthinking doesn't help. It only complicates things. And we get stuck in emotions that we shouldn't trust. It's easy to get caught up in thinking that everything has to be perfect, that we have to control everything around us. But the truth is, we can't control everything. Events like traffic, weather, or politics are completely out of our control. Instead of worrying about them, we should focus on what we can. Imagine this. You have a stressful day because of traffic, but instead of worrying about it and letting it ruin your evening, you decide to change your perspective. Instead of dwelling on it, you take action. You go to bed early, wake up early, and leave the house before the traffic lines start to form. Not only will this make your morning more enjoyable, but it will also help you maintain your peace of mind. That's what the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said. Make the most of what is within your power and take the rest as it comes. Don't let your emotions fool you into thinking you have everything under control. You don't. Focus on what you can do. Do it right. Keep a cool head. It's like trying to get validation from others. You don't need it. You don't need anyone's approval to be yourself. When you are truly focused on your values, when you know that you are doing the right thing, validation from others becomes less important. You feel freer, you feel more grounded. And whenever you are faced with situations that you cannot control, remember that you can handle them with wisdom and patience. Don't get discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Take action and let life happen as it should happen. Now let's talk about the fifth thing, which is called live in the present moment. Time is something we often think we have in abundance, but the truth is, it passes faster than we think. How many times have you sat there so immersed in perfect plans that you forget that every minute that passes will never come back? I have been there too. There are moments when I am so engrossed in mapping out every detail, overthinking that everything freezes. It's a waste, and it's a shame that we let time slip away without realizing it. I remember one time I had an idea for a big project. I mapped it out, down to the smallest detail and the worst-case scenario. And then I got so caught up in perfection that I couldn't move. I let precious time slip away in my own paralysis. I imagined that everything would be perfect if only I thought through every aspect. But in reality, all I did was waste time, and in the end, the opportunity passed. You see, living in the present moment doesn't mean giving up planning. but it does require us to know when to stop and start acting. Seneca once said, "It's not that we have little time to live, it's that we waste a lot of it." And I believe him. We get so caught up in our thoughts that we lose the ability to truly live. I am not perfect, neither are you. No one is. But that is what makes life so real, so beautiful. When you are stuck trying to make something perfect, you miss out on the wonderful moments that are happening all around you. Moments that you would never experience if you were not in the present. Take a look back. How many times have you missed opportunities because you waited for things to be perfect? Have you ever looked back and realized that time has passed and things haven't even begun because you were too caught up in your thoughts? I used to be someone who was always worried about what was coming next, always afraid that things wouldn't turn out the way I wanted them to. But then I realized that the only thing I really have control over is the present moment, right here, right now. The past is gone and the future is still ahead. So why not focus on what's right in front of you? Life doesn't wait for us to be perfect. It doesn't stop to give us time to think a little more. And I learned that lesson the hard way. Now, I try to not only live in the present, but also cherish the smallest moments. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Live. Don't get stuck in overthinking. Don't waste your precious time. You don't have to have everything right from the start. Just move forward. Good things come when you dare to act. The choices you make today, no matter how small, are steps toward moving further along your journey. That's life. That's imperfection. That's ambiguity. That's courage. And that's how we truly live each moment to the fullest. Number 6. Live in the present. Living in the present is one of those simple yet incredibly difficult secrets to follow. We are always caught up in thinking about the past or worrying about the future. But here's the truth. The present is all we really have. It's the only moment you have control over. It sounds obvious, but think about it. How many times are you truly present in each moment? I used to get stuck in an endless cycle of thinking. Everything was just a loop, worries about tomorrow and regrets about yesterday. I remember times when I couldn't even remember what I did that day. Because my mind was so busy with thoughts, I missed so many moments because I simply wasn't there. Not physically, but mentally. When I learned to live in the present, everything changed. I started noticing every little detail around me. The sound of birds chirping in the morning, the smell of coffee wafting from the kitchen, the soft sunlight streaming through the window. Those seemingly small moments brought me a sense of peace that I had never experienced before. Living in the present does not mean that you always have to know how things will turn out. It does not mean that you have to control everything. It is simply feeling and experiencing everything at that moment, not thinking too far ahead about what is coming or what is past. I know, this is not easy. I myself have to learn to do it little by little. There are times when I cannot keep myself in the present. Worrying thoughts about the future or haunting past mistakes still creep into my mind. But the difference is that I know how to come back. I know how to pull myself back to the present moment. Every time that happens, I take a deep breath and remind myself that this is the only moment I have. The magic is, when you focus on the present, stress melts away. You no longer have to struggle to control everything. You no longer have to worry about things that haven't happened yet or things you can't change. You just live. And that makes you feel so much lighter. You start to find that you can make better decisions because your mind is more relaxed and clear. Presence builds resilience because when you focus on each small step in the present, you're not weighed down by the pressure of the whole journey ahead. You take each step more steadily, and each step makes you stronger. Gratitude also grows from here. When you truly live in the present, you begin to appreciate the little things that you previously missed. You stop worrying about what you don't have, and instead deeply appreciate what you do have. It's a hard feeling to describe, but it brings you peace and happiness. Living in the present is an art. It takes patience, practice, and sometimes even a struggle with yourself. But when you master it, you will see your life change in ways you never expected. Try to stop for a moment and let yourself live in this moment. Relax your mind. Just be here and now. Finally, I want to say to my Stoic friends, detach from the outcome, focus on the effort. The outcome is not always in our control. But the effort, that is what we can control. We cannot control everything that happens around us, but we can absolutely decide how we act. That is what I have learned from Stoicism. It's not about the end, it's about the journey. I used to obsess over achieving perfect results. It was about making sure everything was exactly as I wanted it. But it only brought me stress, anxiety, and worst of all, dissatisfaction. Picture this. You're racing to finish a big project, and your mind is racing to, am I going to achieve my goal? Or what will others think if I don't succeed? This used to be me. I was always aiming high, constantly thinking about the outcome. But the truth is, the outcome isn't always something we can control. I learned to stop. I sat down, reflected, and realized that things never go according to plan. Sometimes you work your butt off, but the outcome isn't what you wanted. But that doesn't mean your efforts were in vain. The journey, every step along the way, is what really counts. Every time you put your hands to the task and focus on what you can do right now, that's what creates your value. You may not always get the outcome you want, and that's okay. In fact, it's the failures that help us learn, that help us grow. When I let go of my attachment to the outcome and focused on the effort I was putting in, I felt like a huge weight had been lifted. Things started to feel lighter. I stopped obsessing about whether I was succeeding or not. I just did my best right now. And then the result? It would come. Or it wouldn't. But that didn't matter. What mattered was that I took action. I gave it my all. When you detach from the outcome, you allow yourself to live more fully in the present. You're no longer caught up in worries about the future, endless thoughts about whether you'll succeed or not. You just know that, in this moment, you're doing your best. And that's enough. True power comes from accepting that we can't control everything. But we can control how we respond to life, to challenges and failures. When you focus on the effort, you not only become stronger, but you also become gentler with yourself. You learn to face failure with equanimity, and more importantly, you begin to understand that it is your effort that is truly worthwhile. So, I'm not saying that the outcome doesn't matter, but when you learn to let go and focus only on what you can control, your daily efforts, you find yourself free. Free to live, to learn, and to enjoy the journey. And you know what? That's the key to peace. Thank you for being here with me. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please like and subscribe. It's easy and free. I'm truly grateful for these small but meaningful actions. See you, my awesome Stoic friends, in the next video.